How do we move forward? How are we going to fix that? Mental reframing. Okay. Go from panic mode to how do we fix this? Okay. Yes, this sucks. This is a situation. How do we fix this? Okay. Focus on the present, right? Just like I said, with the instant state change, that forces you in the present, right? So don't worry about the future. Don't worry about how you might get fired. Don't worry about what caused the problem. Don't worry about what your wife or girlfriend might say. Just worry about the problem in front of you, okay? All that other stuff's going to get sorted out, right? Focus on the immediate threat, right? In the military, focus on the threat, okay? Positive self-talk is important during situations like this, right? If a thing happens, don't beat yourself up about it, right? You have enough to worry about. You have enough to worry about, okay? Just remind yourself you've handled everything up to this point. You can handle this too. I can handle this. I can handle this, okay? There's no beating yourself up and talking about, oh, I'm so stupid. I can't believe I forgot to do that. I can't believe I forgot to make a backup of this. That's not going to help you solve the problem. Okay. So forget all that negative shit. There's no point beating yourself up. Just focus on the problem. Focus on the threat. Okay. Develop the mindset that nothing is impossible. Okay. There has to be a solution. Okay. Have the mindset nothing's impossible. There has to be a solution. This keeps your mind open for possible solutions instead of spiraling downward in negativity and talking about why something you might try won't work or can't work. Okay. Like I said, the worst IT guys in the world will throw out millions of reasons why something can't be done or something won't work. I had this problem yesterday with one of my guys. In fact, the same guy. We're in a call because we need to develop a better way of deploying SSL certificates for Google load balancers and without downtime. And the way we did it this year was we ran scripts on our desktop, but I don't want these guys running scripts on their desktop. I want a button that they could push using our deployment tools. And this guy just kept saying, "Oh, well, that doesn't work. Well, like, why can't we have the script on the desktop? Why can't we do that? Like, I don't like that. I don't want to have to build this. I don't." And I finally told him in the meeting, I go, "Would you just shut the fuck up for a minute?" I'm like, all I'm hearing you say is why we can't do this. I don't want to hear that. We're being tasked with this. We need to figure this out. My other guy who's really good. This kid's an up and comer. He's only been doing this for a couple of years and he's a shooting star already. Like he taught himself all this stuff. He taught himself scripting. He taught himself DevOps. He taught himself all this shit. He's my shooting star, man. Like I go to him when I want something done. And he's like, I'm like, can you figure this out? Or, do we need to pull in guys from, this other team? And he's like, I think I could do this. And I'm like, okay, let's look at it. So he's looking at it. And then he does need a little bit of help, which is okay. So I said, hey, let me pull in this other guy. These two guys get together. They had it figured out in 10 minutes, how to do this. Right. So this guy over here is sitting there. Oh, we can't do it that way. Why can't we do it? And this guy over here fixes it in 10 minutes. Right. Because he's open to possibility. This other guy's in a world of why we can't. You understand? That is why you fail. It's the same in all areas of your life, though. Okay. Think about why you can. Don't think about why you can't. All right. And then finally, nobody likes a quitter. Okay. Don't be like my IT colleague. When the stress became too much, he walked out. Okay. Especially if you're the one that fucked up the problem. Don't be a fucking pussy. Up for everybody else and then walk out. What a fucking cowardly thing to do. Okay. Don't be that guy. All right. Stay in the fight. Keep trying. You're going to figure it out. All right. You're going to figure it out, especially if you could keep a clear head and focusing on the problem. Right. You're going to figure it out. And then finally, have a plan. Okay. Have a plan for things like flat tires. Having a plan and being prepared makes it much less of an emergency. Right. So one of the reasons in my book, in the chapter on anybody can be rich, I talk about how to build an emergency fund It's not even that hard. How to build an emergency fund, how to get out of debt, and then how to start building wealth. That emergency fund, you'll find that if you have an emergency fund, when you have an emergency, it's not that big of an emergency because you're prepared for it, right? You have like 4 flat tires. You're like, oh, like you have a pickup truck and tires are like $200 to $300 a pop. And now you got to replace all 4 of them, right? Like, oh, right. Most people would panic about that. But if you have an emergency fund, you're like, yeah, I'll take it out of my emergency fund, right? You're covered. But let's say you only have 1 flat tire, have a spare tire in your car. Okay. Have a spare tire and have the tools to change it. And if you don't know how to change it, waiting until you're on the side of the road to figure it out is probably not the best solution, right? Because sometimes you're like, well, I'll just watch a YouTube video. What if you're in the middle of Colorado in the mountains and you don't have internet service? Like, there's so many dead zones in Colorado, you'd be surprised. And you're not going to be able to look it up on YouTube how to do it. So learn how to do it when you're around internet and try it, right? If you want to practice changing a tire, let's say you've never changed a tire before, okay? Go get the jack out of your car, right? On a weekend when you don't have anything better to do. And you're just going to sit around scrolling on TikTok or whatever. Put the TikTok down, go out in your driveway, learn how to use the jack. Watch the YouTube video when you're there, okay? Jack your car up, take a lug wrench, take one of your tires off your car. You'll find it's just bolts holding it on. And all you got to do is get the pressure off the tire. You take the bolts off. Tire comes right off. It's amazing. Okay. And then to replace it, you just take the other tire, but you don't need to do this when you're just practicing.
New episodes every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Subscribe now.